Hey guys, I'm Rio, and welcome to another episode of Coloring Passports, your ticket around the world one species at a time. Today we are doing the smallmouth bass in the freshwater book. And in case you didn't know, we put out another book. Here it is in all its glory. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Just loads of pages of beautiful freshwater fish illustrations, information about the fish, videos about the fish, and these tutorials, of course. So anyway, we'll leave a link in the description below as to, how to go order one of the books and get it in time for whatever it is you need it for, Christmas, holidays, whatever, we're doing the thing. Okay, so I'm just rambling and I'm not really into the sales part of this. I want to do the illustration part. So here we go. So yesterday we did this illustration right here, looking really nice. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So today we're gonna do the smallmouth bass. So let's get started. As always, we want to make sure these are sticks. We want to make sure that we do the lighter colors first. So this fish is in the coppers, golds, kind of mossy greens sort of thing. So we're going to pick up, we're going to hit Prismacolor first with the dark brown. I like a good point on these, so we're going to go ahead and put a good point on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and just start coloring in these spots with one layer of this brown, and it's all going to look the same. I'm not going to fuss about it being perfectly colored in because we're going to have to come over it with lots of other colors anyway to make sure that the fish is curved, because they're like a football shape, they're rounded. And I don't want it to look flat. I don't want it to look like a flat illustration when I'm done. So the point of these tutorials is to teach you all the secrets as to how to get these fish to look like they look when you see them in the when you're fishing or snorkeling or scuba diving or whatever, or at the aquarium looking at them. Bass Pro Shop. Did you know that these books are available at Bass Pro? I believe you can even order them online at Bass Pro now. How cool is that? Spent my whole life going to Bass Pro, and now I have products at Bass Pro. I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so we're just getting these back here. Let's get the rest of these done. All exactly the same, so the fish is gonna look flat for just a minute, but we're gonna fix that. No big deal. Let's get this done. Now I know that that he's going to be darker in this part of his pectoral fin. So we're going to start like this and kind of come up, start down here and kind of come up, start down here and kind of come up. What's your favorite freshwater fish? Leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite freshwater fish is. Do y'all know what the IGFA all tackle record for this fish is? The IGFA keeps all the records of all the fish caught. And this one was out of Dale Hollow Lake in Tennessee, caught by David Hayes on July 9th, 1955. And it was 11 pounds, 15 ounces. And that's the all tackle record. There's other records for different size, line weights and all these things, but I always put the all tackle record in the book so you can kind of get an idea of just exactly how big these fish really truly do get. Okay, so this bottom fin here is going to be a little bit darker on the edge, and then it's also going to be a little bit darker right here on the inside part. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. But see how just starting to make this up here darker is already starting to add some dimension to it. So then on this, the anal fin here who giggled. I need to know who giggled. Just send me a little emoji in the comments if you giggled at that. We're gonna do the opposite. Up here it's darker at the base. Down here on the anal fin it's darker at the tip of the anal fin. So, and then you want to kind of darken some of those lines that I did draw for you in the illustration. So, and then as it comes up, it gets lighter. We also know that as it rounds the corner down here, you're going to have some darker shadows. And typically, I don't start with the shadows on this, but this fish is darker in general. So we're just trying to get some of these darker colors laid in there so we kind of know what we're doing. And then I'm just going to go over it with a bunch of other stuff and make it look really super pretty. And we're going to try to fake some scale patterns and, you know, just with some little squiggles and things, trying to make it easier on you. But I just needed to tell myself where these dark shadows are supposed to be to get started. And then we'll go from there. Okay, notice that I'm just making the idea of scales here. There's no real pattern. And we could get all the way down to hyper photorealistic, but I just find that process is, while it's doable and while I can do it, it's not fun for me. I don't like having to pay that much attention. I like to get into that meditative state of creativity and just hover there. So some repetitive little squiggles here and there and yonder on the in this dark pattern on this fish is just really all we're looking for. And as it gets back here, while it's going to have those dark patterns, in order to give the illusion that the fish is coming forward, I'm going to start lightening up on the pressure. I'm going to do the same little squiggles, so you're still going to be able to see some scale action back there, but they're just not going to be as dark. Not too shabby what can be done with one pencil. Okay, so this was dark brown. Now we need to pick up some more of the reds. And this isn't necessarily my reference photo, but I am using it to reference the colors. King Sailfish Mounts allows us to use the images, and they've done a spectacular job painting this fish replica here. And so we're just going to kind of mimic the colors of it. So we're going to pick up the burnt ochre, and I'm going to come in here and just very lightly on this tail start to lay in some colors. And it's really important that you color in the direction of the spines of the tail. So that will help you keep everything organized on the page. You don't have to have the exact number of spines. I'm sure that there's a scientific exact number of, how many spines these fish have, on their tail. We're not doing a scientific illustration. We're just practicing a piece of art. So you get in there and kind of just draw over some of those lines again. And then I'm going to go all the way to the edge. Again, right over that dark brown, so we get a little bit more of it's more of a red color is what we're looking for. And then we'll come back over it with that purple gray. And see, I'm coloring outside the lines. Don't even worry about that right now, because we're gonna fix that later anyway. So I am all in on the least amount of stress possible to do these fish. Now I'm gonna bounce around a little bit. I want a little bit of this color up here on his face. So, but I also know that that's going to be a sunshine area for me. So I'm going to grab some of the yellows out of here. And I don't use yellow a lot, y'all. So I really have to focus when I'm playing in the yellow paint colors, because this one's goldenrod. Let's see what it looks like. So that's a stripe. That's not a stripe. Ooh, that's really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna take the goldenrod and I'm gonna color, I'm actually just gonna color the whole thing. Call me crazy. Not exactly the whole thing. So what I'm doing is I'm very lightly just going over all of this area here. And I'm gonna leave this part open because I'm gonna switch colors of yellow, and that's gonna be a brighter yellow, a higher value, so it's gonna look like it has more white in it. And it's gonna have less orange in it. So, and I'm coloring over everything, and I'm not coloring it all, so there's still white showing, which is awesome. We want that white showing. No big deal on that. Look at that fish. He's already coming to life. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make the tail a little more cohesive by adding a little bit of this, what is it called? Goldenrod. Let's see. Can you focus on that? Okay, goldenrod. Okay. So we got the goldenrod down. I'm going to put that away. Now I'm going to grab the jasmine, and let's just see what jasmine looks like. It's a little lighter yellow. Oh, yep, that's a lighter yellow, and I'm liking it. Now we're not going to do the whole fish. We're just kind of going through the center here. A little bit of this goldenrod on his tail fin. A little bit down here, and just this area right here. Oh, that's so nice. We definitely want goldenrod on this fin here. This fin, I don't know, we're gonna goldenrod, just random goldenrod that. So there's his lip. So this would be, so I'm trying to figure out where the stripes would be on this fish. Look how beautiful this blends. So then I'm going to just kind of bring this up into this top area as well. And right now it looks really rough, but I'm telling you, it's going to work. It's going to work real nice. So this area right here is going to come way forward with that yellow. So I'm going to grab a super bright yellow. Which one is this? Sand? Okay, sand. I'm going to put this here, but I don't even think that's not bright enough. We want like a neon yellow. Find me a neon yellow. Here we go. Which one is this? This is lemon yellow. Woo! That's a little wild, but we're gonna go for it. Okay. Now, before I start really working this, I want to lay some color in this background. So I'm going to grab this parrot green first, which I know is going to be a really wild color in this. However, let's do the parrot green, and we want a little bit of the chartreuse. So we're going to add chartreuse down here. You have to kind of decide which angle the light's coming from. It's coming from this side here, and I just colored that incorrectly. So we gotta shape that back up. And I'm coloring right over all of the stuff in the background. Whoops, I got a rogue. I got a rogue color here, running wild. I'm putting this down because I want the water to be a little more green than blue. With the peacock colors, see how coloring right over that anal fin there, set it down into the picture. I know you guys, I know I'm like all over the place when I'm talking to you about all this stuff. I'm just trying to give you as much information as I can to help you understand how to move forward with your creativity stuff with the fish. Because there was nobody teaching me how to color these fish or paint the fish. It was years of trial and error. Okay, so I'm feeling like I want to try this parrot green. Because the thing is that the parrot green with all of the reddish browns in here is really going to be really nice complementary colors. And I've got to get a good base layer on this paper before we do any watercolor work, because this one wrinkled a little more than I want. So I don't know if we told you or not, but these books are made here in the USA. So we're still testing out some papers. Which one is this? Peacock. Oh, okay. So we're going to take the peacock and we're going to come this way with it. I find that it's harder to color larger areas of the book at a time, because you always get these lines here, but we'll cover that up with some watercolor. Don't worry about that right now. See how I'm bringing that peacock color directly over the top of that fin? Oh yeah. Yep, there it is. Gonna work it just like that. And then we're gonna come back over that later with some darker red browns anyway. So I know this is chaos and it looks really, really shabby, but trust me, it's going to turn itself around here. So I want the lighter color down here. Maybe. I'm trying to remember what it's like being in the water. I'm imagining what it's like with the water, the light reflecting off the bottom and bouncing back up. And you see we're just covering up all of those brown branches right now. I'm just covering them all up. We're just covering them all. I'm gonna grab this French gray, which probably should not be in that. Probably should be over in the other tray. We're gonna give this rock a little love here with some French gray. And I use the French gray because it's more taupey, kind of more of a neutral color. It's a perfect common ground because I don't want this coming too far forward. And then I'm going to grab some of this light peach. And I'm going to just come on this side of it where the light would be hitting it. That light peach has enough yellow in it to give the illusion of some light hitting that area there. It's all we're looking for. It's all an illusion. And this is beige. And we may have put a little too much green already in the sticks, but you know, whatever. I'm good with it. I'm going to come down here with the beige and just start to add a little bit of light here, there, and whatever. You know, yonder. This one we're going to come back in with a little bit of white paint. Kind of fix that up a little bit. Okay, now I know that this fish has sort of a reddish orange eye, which is what we refer to as eyeballs. Just a tiny bit of that crimson red, just a tiny bit, and you want to make sure that's really sharp before you go to getting in there with it. Then I'm going to grab the carmine red and I want to sharpen it to a nice sharp point. Very lightly. Okay, that's gonna go back over there in the orange pile. The orange pile. Peacock. Small little squiggles using the edge of the pencil. Let's get some of this color in there. And we're going to come back over, we're going to add some blue. And you know, I'm not really all that concerned with the background right now, but it helps to have an idea of where your background is going. So you know how intense you need to make your fish. It also helps to have that good layer of colored pencil down so that when you work your watercolor in there, you're not tearing up your pages. I feel like I'm going to grab the light aqua. And see how in some of those areas I colored really wide, so I didn't cover the entire piece with the yellow green. So in some of these areas you get a nice blue shining through there. It's still a little too light colored. It's got to be darker. This water is going to be dark. It's lake water. It's not ocean water. I'm an ocean girl, so this part's hard for me. Ooh, look how nice that is though. Wow. Oh yeah, I like that color a lot. Okay, we're getting there. We're on to something now. You get some of this aqua on the fish, don't worry about it. You're going to use it on the fish anyway. Look at that. Okay, so then I think it probably needs some of this moss green, which I'm not excited about, but it's true. It needs some of this moss green up in here. We're going to start using some of the moss green on the sticks. Is your hand getting tired? Because mine is. So do you guys watch these all the way through and then do yours, or do you try to do it right along with me? Because that's got to be hard. I think if I was taking a tutorial, I think I'd have to watch it first and then watch the painting evolve and then get in there. Now see how this has more of a brown hue to it, but this over here with the exact same color, because of the colors we put down first, has more of a green to it, and it's got that mossy looking color like sticks in the lake have when they grow moss on them. That's what they look like. It's like, look, I'm telling y'all, it's gross. Moss is gross. I don't like swimming in lake water because I don't like putting my feet in mud or moss. It's just nasty. Now, I know all you that love to ski and, you know, are all in on the whole lake experience are going to come for me, but I like getting in water that I can see my feet in. So this is a no for me, but I'm happy to learn how to illustrate it for you. Okay, so this is in the darker green up here, and we're going to come in and just really hammer that because it's further away. And see, look how nice that's going to look. It's got some like yucky moss all over it, but it's going to look pretty dang good. And these will just get darker. And just kind of randomly, you're going to randomly push a little harder on some of them, a little lighter on some of the other ones. You know, we want some of these twigs to be in the absolute background behind the fish. So they're there, but you know, you're not focused on them. And the ones that have more intense color, more vibrant color, are going to be a lot closer to us. And you're going to be able to see a little more detail in those. You know, you want to always kind of keep that in mind as you're doing this. Little sections at a time. That's the whole idea of it. It's just to kind of do little sections at a time. I'm going to come here to the edge and just lightly start on this because this doesn't have any blue or green in it at all. And I want this to be darker. Moss green. Y'all, this entire book is not my favorite colors, but it's proving that even if I don't like the colors necessarily on the daily basis, that it still can be done, and the pictures are still beautiful, because these fish are beautiful. These fish are indeed beautiful. See what I did there? I kind of feel like that would be, I drew it a little too dark. But I feel like there'd be a little reflection there of the stick. Maybe right there too. So we're just kind of, you know, we're just taking it up a notch here a little bit with what we're doing. That's all. Okay, I'm gonna just sort of color this in with the green. Doesn't have any of the blue on it, or the oh. Let's see here. I'm just gonna kind of come in and with this moss. Okay. I'm gonna color some of this moss green right here. Y'all, can you hear my belly growling? We're on such a time crunch with this that I gotta work through lunch. I gotta get these tutorials finished for you guys. Ugh. Pains my heart to have to put this mossy color over the water, but I know it's got to go there. Okay, so we've kind of got a hot mess. That's okay. Okay, let's get into the, so we've got, you know, some background laid out so we can see where we're going. We're not done with it, but we've got it laid out, and that's kind of how I operate. So let's get some more color laid down on this fish and start bringing this fish forward. Out of the Ohuhu Heroes, we're gonna grab the purple gray. And I'm gonna come back here on the tail of the fish and kind of work my way forward, I think. Let's get the tail doing what we want it to do. Now I'm pushing a little bit harder because I'm committing to what's going on here now. In order to get that tail to look like it's flipping up, we've got to add some darker color here at the base of the tail. This area right here where we've got all this green would definitely have some shadows in there. I have a little bit of a shadow there, a little bit of shadow there. Okay, so then I'm noticing that I really want to bring in some more color over the top of this. So I'm just gonna grab the 90% warm gray from the Prismacolor. I'm gonna lightly come over the top of this. I want some of that yellow to still show through. So I am just barely, and I'm coloring in the wrong direction on purpose because that will allow me to let some of that yellow show through. So it looks like there's gazillions of colors there that have all been mixed. I'm gonna add some to this here and kind of start pulling some of this up and around. Also might want to add a little bit of it to this splotchy back here. You know. This is a purple gray, in my opinion. So kind of works here the way I want it to. Now I'm coloring super light in this area because this area is going to have a whole lot of color. This area is really going to have like the whole rainbow effect. Every color of the rainbow is going to be represented in the bottom part of this fish you're going to see. But we just got to take our time. So I'm going to add some of this up here on his gill plate. Very light, very light. I don't want to get too crazy with it yet. The tricky part of this is that his pectoral fin is pretty translucent. So we have to be very careful how we proceed forward here, because we got to make sure that you can see through that fin. It's going to be challenging. I might not get that done. I'm going to try, but I don't know if I can get it done or not. Going to use this same 90% warm gray. Start darkening up some of these stripes. And I'm just making little squiggles because I've just realized that if you do the squiggles, it just gives the illusion of scales without having to actually take the time to paint the scales, because I'm not down for that sickness. This is practice. This is like doing sketches in a sketch journal. Which, since I have started doing this, I have seriously contemplated doing some sketch journals because I think it's beneficial. Gonna get some of that dark in there. Ooh, yep, that's fire. Oh, that should be brighter. Okay, we're gonna have to come back in on that and fix that up a little bit more. Back to the anal fin. Now right here, where the anal fin connects to the belly, there's going to be a little bit of a shadow, just a hint. And then the belly part of the fish is going to kind of protrude out right here as well. So we're going to create the illusion of that by simply just adding a little bit of a darker line. Also want this tail to curl over under. So I'm going to come in here and just start darkening this area just a touch too. Nothing too crazy. I mean, these fish are kind of dark colored anyhow, so, but I just want you to be able to see the illusion of what happens when you start to add your shadows in the proper colors. Now I'm going to grab the periwinkle and I'm going to add some blue here to this fin right on top of that yellow. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing, but it's happening. Trust me, it's going in. I'm going to add some little ideas of random scale patterns here. I'm not trying to be perfect. I just want the illusion of there being scales there, and the scales in the back would be much closer together, and that periwinkle blue does a really nice job right over the top of everything. It's just a really lovely color. We're going to add some of it back here, right back here on just directly on top of this tail. Yep, there it is. That's really nice. I like that. So then in the shadowy areas, some back in here. That'll work. It's okay. Now I'm going to see what it looks like when I bring that. Oh my goodness. Wow! Look at that! Okay, that's not terrible. But look, I gotta sharpen my pencil again. Just take a break and sharpen some pencils. Okay. So we've got some of that blue in there. That periwinkle color in the background is pretty nice. And now I'm probably wasting time doing this because I'm going to go over with the watercolors for sure. But I got to tell you, it's kind of therapeutic to watch those colors pop. Watch the fish move around and do what it needs to do. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this periwinkle on the back sides of these tree branches. That's gonna help kind of anchor it in there. So we also want to go kind of heavy on the ones that are scooting off into the distance. There we go. A little bit of that periwinkle over here. Not a ton on this one. This one's got some light on it. And go down in here. See how that starts to make that tree branch kind of move around? You know, I'm always telling you to color in the direction of something, because you got to get it to bend. You got to make the curve. And part of that is using the correct colors. The other part is making sure that you're coloring in the right direction. Gonna add some of that here. See how nicely that just grays everything up? That periwinkle right over that, because that mossy color had a little orange in it. That blue from this is just gonna do lovely things. I'm coloring against in the opposite direction that I already colored on. It seems to be filling in quite nicely doing it that way. And these Prismacolors are just beautiful. They're just like butter. They're like butter. Okay. So I'm gonna add the periwinkle over this section here. I'm liking it. We're gonna add some periwinkle over here. Again, coloring in the opposite direction that we had on the first go at this. I'm not pushing terribly hard. And I'm not applying the exact same pressure throughout. See, this is where we started. Sorry, I moved the page. This right here is where we started, and this is what's developing. And it's starting to look like pond water, y'all, or lake water, which is what we need. Just light layers. Layer after layer, and don't worry about it if you get it on the fish. Oop, I just colored on another page. Well, okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. See right there, you can see what color that really is by itself. But when you start layering all these colors together, this is what you get. It's pretty creamy. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, that periwinkle is a great color in the middle of all of this. Okay, let's work on the fish some more now. We'll come back to the branches and all of that good stuff, but let's work on this fish a little bit. So let's get his face coming. Now, the face is kind of turned away. So the highlight is going to be on this part of the body here. We're going to have some greens in this. And see what I'm doing here? Taking that periwinkle and just kind of rubbing it into that yellow, and that greens it up a little bit. You can't really see it on my finger, but definitely smooths out what's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to grab this powder blue, and we're just going to start laying in some of this powder blue in here. All right, now we definitely want some of this powder blue up here on his back. And I'm gonna grab some lime peel. Look at that. That's awesome. That's not 100% the way I wanted it, but you know, it'll be okay for right now. For right now, it's okay. I do, however, think I'm gonna grab some of this mineral orange and get a little more color in this dorsal fin here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of this mineral orange here. Gonna put a little bit of it behind his eye, just a touch, because we're gonna green that up a little bit. I'm gonna put some of it in here on his cheek. And I'm just making little tiny squiggles here so that we kind of mimic scale patterns again. Let's see here. So that's gonna be the darker stripe. I'm gonna grab the light umber. Actually, I might grab the dark. Let's grab the dark. Let's do the light umber first. Okay, so I know that this is gonna be darker here. And I'm just gonna come in and make some squigs. And this part of his lip is gonna puff up a little bit. So I gotta be really careful how I color this, even though I know it's going to be dark, but I got to be careful how I layer these colors in order to get it to do what I want it to do. So I want to give the illusion of there's a little bit of his lip curling under here. Got this here, so then we're gonna have probably some, this is gonna be, and see how I'm letting some of this just run wild. I went right over that orange that I just laid in. Gonna do a little bit of it there, a little bit of it there. It's gonna kind of be a continuation of some stripes, but lighter. Okay, so we got this. I'm going to bring some of this darker color here on the back. how I told you that this needed to be transparent? So I didn't draw this on there on purpose. Because you're going to have to kind of freehand this yourself. But you see how I just did the continuation of the stripe through the pectoral fin, but lighter, so it's a little distorted. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to add a shadow right here using this exact same dark brown color. There's going to be some darker brown up in here. We're going to use the brown first because it's a great color to get us started. And then we're going to come into some other colors. Don't panic, you've got this. But see how when I did the when I started doing the background color, I let that color come up into the fish. And you know, you might have been thinking, oh my goodness, outside the lines, outside the line. But it's really okay because it helps to anchor the fish into the painting. So you want those, because it's called reflective light. And this fish is definitely going to have reflective light on it from all of these areas. So it's still a hot mess, but it is developing. It's going to be really pretty when we're done. This fish is going to be beautiful, especially when we get all the metallic-y fun stuff in there. It's going to be really nice. So we're going to come in and start darkening up some of these little scales that we've just laid in to give you the idea that they're there. Your brain sort of fills those things in. So and I'm going to be the first one to tell you that I didn't get the pectoral fin painted the way that I wanted, but that's okay. We're going to let it go. I wanted more light on it, hitting about right here, but I just went in and added the shadow in there before I was really thinking about what I was doing. And that's okay. That's no big deal. I'm not going to stress out about it at all. So we're going to come over the top of this slightly. Kind of anchor those two pieces together where the pectoral fin meets the back of the fish. Then we're going to go over it with some green, because that green is kind of the universal language of this entire painting. Going to add some of this brown into the fish in its tail fin here. It's really pretty color, really pretty colors. Very nice. So I'm going to put that one down for just a minute. We got the light brown here. We're just going to make little squiggles in the yellow with this light brown, and I am barely touching this. And I don't want to cover all of the yellow. I'm just trying to set up the idea that there could very well be more scales in this area. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm also going to bring some of that brown down here. And we're going to darken all of this stuff up in a little bit, but we're actually also, call me crazy, but I think we should add some lavender. So I've grabbed lilac. Remember I told you this fish is going to have lots and lots and lots of different colors. He's developing quite nicely, I think. adding some back there in the back. I feel like there'd probably be a little bit of lavender up in here. Lavender is pretty intense though, so I don't want to get too crazy with the lavender because it's going to be a little too much in your face. I am going to bring some of it up here, just patchy. Little black raspberry. Ooh, yep, there we go. Okay. And I'm just making little polka dots here with it. Then we're going to come in and I'm going to just put a glaze of this here in this one. A little bit of a glaze here in this one. I'm not going to put it here in the pectoral fin. We're going to leave that alone for the time being. Barely glaze the top of that. It's working. I think it's working. So that's the raspberry. I'm going to set that pencil here. I'm going to grab this powder blue again because I want to come right over the top of some of these that are further away with the powder blue, because what that's going to do is just give it some atmosphere. So like right up here, I feel like there's a lot of powder blue going on. Oh, look at that water, y'all. Oh my goodness. Look at that water. Wow! Is that translating well on camera? I sure hope it is. That's really cool. That's really nice. Okay, let's start darkening up this fish. Let's get into some of these darker yellows here and some yellow oranges. I gotta sharpen a few of these because that tip is never gonna work. This is the Sunburst Yellow. Might be a little more than I need, but we're gonna mix some of the oranges with the greens up here on the body of this fish and try to get this. Ooh, Lord have mercy. That might be too much. That might be a little loud there. Might be a little loud. Ooh. Might be a little loud. Okay. Maybe we can set it down with a little bit of that brown right over the top. Goodness Gray Chaise. Ooh, y'all, that's a hot minute there. That's a lot going on. Let's grab. I'm feeling like I need the green ochre here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna work. See, I'm just putting in a few more little scales. Randomly putting in some scales. Because I don't want to go crazy and have to paint all those scales. Ooh, that's a nice color. It's going to be more white. This is definitely going to be darker. I've got some yellow coming over the top again. This is the sand. It's a really pretty color. So we're going to come back here and just kind of go over everything again in the sand. Going to be a whole lot of layering going on up in here. And I think the lighter colors are the hard ones to color. I think the darker colored fish are a lot easier. So we just got to keep going darker and darker. And I know that this yellow is a little much, but watch. That lilac was a little too intense for me, so you put the yellow over it and it sets that lilac right back down. Then we'll run some of this Kelly green. You got the blue, you got the green, you got the orange, you got the purple. We got red on this fish. We got some more green in this area, I feel like. Got some of that green reflecting off from the water. Get some green over the top of this red here. We're going to cover up some of that green too, so it's not so intense. And I do want some green kind of trailing back here on this edge. So we're just going to add a little bit of it in right there. See how it kind of just shifts all of that. That's a little too green still, so we're going to change that a little bit, but you know, you get the picture. We're just starting to add some color to this fish. Gonna add a little bit of it up here to his face. So the picture as a whole is cohesive. Gonna add some of the greens up here. I'm going to go back to the terracotta. No, mineral orange. We have some other yellows that we haven't tried yet. I'm nervous though. The yellows make me nervous because they're loud. We gotta get some darker. Going with that purple gray. Okay, it's time to get serious about darkening up some of the folds in this fish here. Not too shabby. Okay, I want to kind of add a little bit of this in here, but I'm barely touching this. This color is really a nice universal shadow color, especially for the white areas of this fish, or the lighter areas. He's not really white, but he is white underneath his face there. So, but you can't let it stay white. You gotta color it in. So you gotta pick colors that are gonna read like white with the rest of it, you know, going dark. We're just going to kind of start accentuating where we know there's going to be some shadow area here. And see, the entirety of these stripes isn't dark. So we had to kind of build it up before we can come back in and start adding just some really hard pressure in some of these areas. And see what happens when I add that pressure right there in that area? See, it pops this pectoral fin right off the page. And just remember that he's going to have crevices and creases and, you know, all kinds of little things going on over here. So you can just kind of just add the illusion of all those extra details without necessarily having to totally paint all of those details. Sometimes you can tell the story with fewer words. Unless Chase is telling the story. Okay, we're just gonna barely. So I kind of want the illusion that the pectoral fin is a little bit cupped, so I'm working with just to accentuate just a few of the spines here in the center. That's it. The rest of them we're just going to leave alone for now. We definitely have got to get some more green. Definitely need some blue. This is Caribbean Sea. I don't think that's a great name for this color, but we're just gonna let it go. I was not in charge of that, so. I'm not hating it. I'm not 100% a fan yet of what's going on. This is the 90% warm gray. I don't like this harsh line on his underbelly. So, and that's, you know, just part of having to illustrate it. It's very challenging at this stage of the game to know what lines need to be there to help you and what lines interfere with the process of the page. So there's still quite a learning curve for me as your illustrator to get this part of it right. And part of that the help I get from that is just sitting down and actually doing the illustrations with you. So every time I color one of these pages, I understand a little bit more of what I need to do to make the drawings better for us. And coming from a painting background, I typically don't draw very much on my canvas anyway. But in order to help you not have to do that, I opted to add some things to it that I typically wouldn't necessarily add. All right, let's get in here and start adding a few little rando Just not sure I'm feeling like I'm getting it as dark as I want it to be. I also feel like I gotta go over the whole thing with this lime green. Yep. That's helping. For sure. Lime peel. Trying really hard to not make mud here, y'all. Look at that rainbow belly coming out, though. Gotta do some work on the fins. Gotta do some work on those fins. Still using that purple gray. I'm gonna switch to the black here. My goodness, these are so much fun to work with. These colors are just so beautiful. Moss green, here we go. Up here on the face. Gonna add some yellow. This is the lemon yellow. look at that color start to come out. So you just have to be patient. You have to work this, you have to work the fish. Look at that. Yeah! Woo, that's gonna be so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's add a little bit of yellow here in the white areas. And again, this is probably not 100% accurate depiction of the fish itself. It's just practice. You can't get all tore up about it being perfect on pages like this. This is just practice. So I want to come in here with some of this right across there. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful that's blending out. Oh wow. We haven't even added the watercolor yet. Woo! Okay, I'm gonna grab this sandbar brown. A little bit of a lighter color, but I'm gonna use it in lieu of the yellow over the back of the fish because I want the back of the fish to be further away from us. So I feel like I can use it to clean up these spots here a little bit because the spots are feeling a little sloppy. Gonna add some of that brown into the tree. Sorry, I get quiet because I'm working all the elements here now. When it starts to come together, I find myself just getting quiet and getting just peacefully into the meditative state of creating. Wow, that's really pretty. Okay, I want the bottom of that fish to be a little more silvery colored without adding the silver. I'm gonna try this 20% cool gray. Knowing that I might have to come back in with the paint later on and kind of clean some of this up. Wow, look at that. So we gotta get this background solid And then we're looking pretty good. For a rough sketch anyway. I'm gonna grab this, this is Jade Green. I'm gonna come in over the background again. I'm not coloring over the trees right now, I'm coloring in between the trees because I still want to be able to come in and work the tree, and I'll see how I'm pulling some of that jade right up onto the fish. Oh wow. Yep, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Gonna add some yellows where I want it to be a little more highlighted. And yes, it's a little over exaggerated, but it's an illustration. And so I just kind of feel like that's probably okay. Okay, green ochre. Gonna go back to doing some little squigglies in the yellow area because I don't want to cover up all the yellow. I just want to add some more dimension to all of it by adding some of this green ochre. Without making mud. We're trying real hard not to make mud here. That's the goal, don't make mud. I'm gonna switch to some watercolor because I need to start seeing some of this fill in. Oh, that's nice. Gotta be careful though, because this part of the paper doesn't have anything to protect it. There's no watercolor, or there's no colored pencil on that part of the paper. And I am using very little water here, you guys. I mean very little water. That's gonna be really nice. I'm going to dip into some of this brighter aqua and a little bit of this green. Okay. I'm going to bring the watercolors back into play here. I'm going to grab some of this green. Can you hear the kitty outside crying? Some of this aqua. We're going to come down in here, and it's really a very dry brush technique. I don't want very much water on this paper at all. Oh my goodness, do you hear that, kitty? Let me tell you a little secret. Come down in here, and it's really a very dry brush technique. I don't want very much water on this paper at all. Oh my goodness, do you hear that, kitty? Let me tell you a little. Come down in here, and I don't know if you can hear the cat or not, but the cat is seriously crying at the door and he can't come in because I'm filming. Okay. Ooh, that might be a little too much green. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Yep, totally digging that. Sometimes I get a little crazy with it here. I don't even know what's happening. Y'all have never painted freshwater fish before. This is the first. It's like, it's happening. So the books are on the website, and they're also going to be available at Bass Pro in the coming weeks. They have shipped to Bass Pro. Pretty excited about that. Ooh, look at that green. Oh. So the reason why the cat is whining is because I totally just pulled chicken out of the oven and then put it in the warming drawer, and the cat is freaking out because he thinks that that chicken is his. It's not, but that's what he wants. And he's outside crying like a little baby while I paint this fish. That's what's happening. I totally just pulled chicken out of the oven and then put it in the warming drawer, and the cat is freaking out because he thinks that that chicken is his. It's not, but that's what he wants. And he's outside crying like a little baby while I paint this fish. That's what's happening. I'm going to come down in here, and it's really a very dry brush technique. I don't want very much water on this paper at all. Oh my goodness, do you hear that, kitty? Let me tell you a little. I forgot I was filming up there because I'm trying to film a reel too. I just want a little bit of that green in there. Whew. I like how kind of retro technicolor it's feeling with all the different colors going on. Grabbed a little bit of the blue here, and that's really a cerulean blue, but it's not so obnoxious in your face because it's on, there's lots of colors going on in the background with the colored pencils, so that makes these little wash techniques really, really pop and really pretty. Look at it. Oh my goodness, look at that. That part's a little too wet. I'm telling you right now. If you get too much water on that paper, just blot it. See, it comes right off. It's pretty forgiving, especially if you've got enough layers of watercolor on there. See, I want this just a little bit darker, so I'm just kind of pulling some of that blue over into the green. This is a little lighter. It's working. It's not terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do with this over here. And this up here, I think that needs some of this color. Gotta be really, really careful up here because I did not put any watercolor. I didn't put any colored pencil down on that. So I'm actually gonna let that dry. I'm feeling like I need to darken up these trees a bit. And I'm feeling like the only way to get that done really is to get some watercolor out. Because I went really heavy with the excuse me. I went really heavy with the colored pencils. So, as a result, it's pretty waxy and it's not taking very much more pencil. So I'm gonna have to go in, if I want these to be darker, I'm gonna have to do it with the watercolor, but I gotta be really aware that the paper is at its max right now with what it can take with regards to the watercolor. So I cannot get too crazy with this. It's a real dry brush. I mean, real dry brush, which is challenging. See that color, that pencil goes, that watercolor, if your brush is super dry, you've got just enough pigment on there where you can see the pigment. And I'm just dipping into some of the browns. And these, you know, these watercolors, this watercolor pan doesn't have names, so I don't know. I'm gonna go back in and make the fish all shiny here in just a minute. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this. Ooh, that's dark. Ooh. Actually, I wonder if that color would look good. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, now I'm gonna apologize that the paints aren't labeled color-wise. Woo, look how intensely rich that's becoming. And there's just the little added details that make all the difference in the world. I'm going to grab some of this green, it's kind of a mossy looking green, and I'm just using a dirty brush. I'm going to grab some more of that brown. I'm just going to come in here and just add a little bit more color here, there, and yonder. You know, we like the here, there, and yonder method of painting. I just like, for me, as a professional artist and as always having to, once you start being paid to paint, it sort of takes the fun out of it. and it you know, puts pressure on. Then you start, instead of thinking about, wow, how can I, what can I create, then you start thinking about what can I create that somebody will want to buy. And there's a whole lot of pressure. But with these books, there's no pressure. You're just painting for the pure enjoyment of getting to paint something, and for the practice of it. There's no, and for me, that's been the most exciting part about all of this, is just figuring out how to get all these colors to work together, how to paint the fish better, how to improve my own techniques, whether it's with the acrylics or the colored pencils and the markers and, you know, whatever. I haven't even broke out the markers yet. I forgot about having markers. How to make better illustrations for us to do. You know, there's just like a whole host of things that I'm thinking about while I'm painting this, but not ever having to worry about whether someone's gonna buy it or not, whether I'm gonna have to, you know, get to pay a bill with this or not. That's not the point of this book. This book is just to explore, and literally I just use it as a journal. I use it as a journal. It's more fun than a journal. Because you don't have to start from nothing. You start from some ideas and then you go from there. If you want to paint this fish pink stripes and orange polka dots, you just go right ahead and knock yourself out. There's no right or wrong. Start to add some more of that color right over the top there and just kind of set some of that down. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm loving the way this is just blending all together now. And I have a tendency to overblend some things. Then I lose my focal point and all of that. So then I have to go back in, but that's okay. We've got some pens that make going back in pretty easy. Can always go back in and use a little bit of the that's the pearl. Ooh, I wonder if this pearl white would help sort of bring out the color in that fish. Oh, yep, that's gonna do it. I gotta go get the rest of my metallic colors out, because that is what's missing in these fish paintings. Man, it doesn't matter how long I live, I'm never going to get tired of looking at fish. I could live to be 300 and still think that fish are some of the coolest creatures on the planet. I mean, the colors that they present are just mind-blowing, even the freshwater ones. And y'all know I'm a saltwater princess. I prefer saltwater everything to, you know, all the other stuff, but these fish are just gorgeous. I'm gonna grab some of the fine tech colors, and I don't know if we've mentioned this or not, but we are developing a line of colors specifically for our books. It's gonna be a lot of fun when those are done. Kittens gave up pretty easy, wanting to come in. Going into the fine tech, which again, we're using right now, but we are, hopefully by the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, we've got colors that are available for purchase with these books that will enhance your experience with these books even further. I just love all the shimmer, and a fish has got some serious shimmer. Get some of that blue interference going here. Just put it in some of these darker patches. Because that blue over the dark, oh, chef's kiss, I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. And you don't want to cover the whole thing because you'll lose all of your hard work with making it make the curve and going around the bend and, you know, all those things. So, see right here, we got a lot of backlight right there on that fish. So beautiful. I'm going to have some more over here. I'm going to put a little bit of the blue in the dark part of the tail. A little bit of that blue down here as well. Now, that is going to kind of mess with the perspective just a touch. Because, you know, the metallic has a tendency to bring things forward. But I like it, so I used it. You don't have to use it. But I sure do enjoy putting it on the paper. I think it's beautiful. Got this green gold color over here. I'm going to slather some of that on there as well. Just a little bit here and there and everywhere. A little bit of it down here. There we go. Okay. Now, this water's had some chance to dry. I need to develop the sticks a little bit more, and again, dry brush. Well, it's just damp. We're just gonna we're getting it damp here. And go into some of that green right on top. See how nicely that just lays in there? That just does a great job. Gonna do some of the blue and some of the green. More green than anything though. You want, ooh, that's a little much. Well, I don't think it's terrible. So let's give the paper a break, let that dry, and then we'll come back and we'll add some you know, highlighty colors. Like I think the eyeball definitely needs some neon orange added to it. Maybe we'll just do that right now. Wow. That's just not cooperating. I don't think I like these colors. Let me grab a neon orange from here. I want a little more orange in this fish. Call me crazy. One more time. That's pretty. I like the orange coming back in. And the neon colors really perform well, I think. It's a little much, but, oh, looky there. Add some of that neon orange to the pectoral fin. That's pretty. Add a little to this right here, just a touch. Woo, look at that. That kind of pops. Okay, now I'm gonna grab this canary yellow. And you see, we're just coloring right over the top of all of those already. And this is darker than it should be. I mean, this yellow is darker than it should be. I mean, really, should be a little paler. But for the sake of illustration and for the sake of practice, I think we're doing okay. And for the sake of the fact that I have never painted a smallmouth bass in my life, I'm pretty tickled pink with it. I'm gonna come in here and add a little bit of this yellow. Ooh, that's a lot. Wow. 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 Oh boy, that's a whole lot there. Okay, look at that. See, when you add that yellow right over the top of all those colors that you've got going on, it makes it look like the light is genuinely hitting the sticks. Look at it. Got all that movement in there. That's pretty cool. You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. And see, he's just kind of lighting up now. Ooh, wow. How's that looking on camera? Dang, I think that looks pretty good. Is it perfect? I don't think so. I'm not sure that I'm capable of perfect on these at this particular moment in time because I'm not 100% an expert on what I'm doing. I'm just learning right along with you guys. So I'm going to take the jelly roll. I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to add a little more light to some of these images, but I don't want it to be super white, so I'm going to go over it with my finger after I touch it. And after I get it on there, I'm going to just kind of touch it. And same with up here. I want the illusion that this fish is wet, but I don't want it to be white. Right here, I'm just making some chicken scratches just to get some of that white to lay down on on the page just so I can blot it with my finger. And you know, if it's not, the ink's not coming out, you can just clean the pen. And right in here, I'm gonna lay down just some white color, just randomly to kind of highlight some of the scales, but I'm also gonna go in and blot it because I don't want too much going on there. And I do want a little bit more white right here, a little more reflection. I want a little more reflection right in here. It just adds that added layer of, I tried really hard. That's what this is. It's the added layer of, I tried really hard. I gave it my best. There's a fly in the studio. That's just part of living in the country, I suppose. Okay, I want to add a little bit more. In a perfect world, I'd have some jelly rolls that were in different colors that I could come up here and just kind of add, because those jelly roll pens are really spectacular at adding just tiny little amounts of extra highlights here and there. You don't want to. You could. I'm sure you could do an entire painting in the jelly rolls. I choose to not do it that way. I like the watercolors over the colored pencil myself, but the pens tend to, just add a little extra layer of fun to it. I'm gonna add a little more white right here, and then I'm gonna actually let that dry, and I'm gonna come in with some blue over the top of that. See, that kind of brings it down just a bit. What is that looking like online? I think that's really good. Okay, so I'm not real happy with how uneven the background is. So I've got a paint pen here. It's a Craft Smart Premium Oil-Based paint pen. A little stinky, but the cool part is because the colored pencils are oil-based, it kind of works to your advantage. So you just kind of squeeze some of that out, and you can just fade all of it out into the background color like so. And then it looks like you've just gotten a window into the fish world itself. It's kind of cool. I kind of like it. I'm gonna add some tree or some squiggles from up top over here with it. kind of add to the illustration a little bit. Right up against those reflections. Woo, y'all. Can assure you that this pen stinks. Get that all the way out there. Oh, yeah, see, that's better. I like that a lot better. That's kind of a harsh edge right there, but so we're gonna kind of... Oh, that's sticky too. Hopefully that dries a lot better than what it's drying right now, because it is sticky. And that part will never work. There we go. Not perfect, but better than it was. Whew, stinky. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. But sometimes you gotta have a potent white. And that one definitely does the trick. I still feel like I'm not 100% sure I'm done. I feel like the eyeball could have a little more love to it. I gotta let this dry here before I do anything else because that's sticky and I cannot touch it with anything. So let's take a break, let it dry, and we'll be back. Okay, so I feel like we've reached a point in this where I could just keep adding and adding and adding, but I think we need to let it go, get it signed. And I think we're going to sign it right here. Little action on the Instagram there. If you guys aren't following us, you need to, and you want to, because we post a lot of updates there. Painting Passports is the handle, and I can leave that in the description, or you can follow me, Love Real Saress, on Instagram as well. I want to add a little bit more right here to this if I can, so because I feel like now that the paint has dried, it's a little off. So I just want to darken a little bit of this up, and I'm going to come in and grab some more of the green and the blue. Okay, now I think I'm really done. I'm gonna want to keep going, but I think we're gonna call it